Oh, carnage. You stand your ground. Alright, that's the instant tack. Cool. So, how many degrees do we normally tack to?
90.
45.
Tack, okay, so we're going along at starboard and we tack.
260.
About 90. It's like 85. 45.
That's 45.
90.
And now this is the next 45.
Yeah, 90.
It's 90.
90.
Oh, I said it right.
Cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you'd find it's pretty
It's
close
like a
to
right
90 and
angle.
after.
It's a right angle.
Yep, a right angle.
That's
So-
right. I'm math.
So a good way of looking at it is you'll probably end up on this angle.
But you don't angle.
Or this angle. Or if you're looking over your shoulder, that angle.
I don't know.
Cool. So George, jump in from port.
George, get in the boat.
I'll try and...
The first,
Okay, imaginary tiller extension.
first time George stepped
Is that possible? Okay, it can just be a position.
High performance.
Cool. Bloody good. That's weird. It looks like you've got the tiller, but... Cool.
You need to make it straight.
So we're going along. Okay, we got step one. It's just before the tack. What's your first instinct? First thing that you're going to do?
Look up to the left and
Okay.
start staring up slowly.
So steering up slowly. That's a few degrees, Then what happens next?
And when the front of the sail, when the luff starts to luff, then you steer up a bit more
Yeah.
and you like hike out.
Cool. So
Like,
that's step
so your upper
two.
body goes up like that.
Cool. So let's go back to the start. Okay, step one. Steering up a little bit. So we've got a few degrees. The sail luffs. Then you hit out.
And you pull on the main sheet.
Okay, back to the start. Okay. Step one.
When you steer up, you wanna, and when you're slowly steering up, you pull your main on not that much. Just
Two
like
clicks?
a few, yeah, 2 maybe 3. Not that much, like hardly any.
2 or 3 clicks. So steering up slowly, 2 or 3 clicks. The luff, and then you go
Pull it
hit.
on, like as you bring your body up, you go back, pull it on.
Cool.
And then,
And now we are at head to wind.
yeah, and so once the boat's, like you want to get the boat on top, like on the angle of that, as quick as you can. And then,
Cool. So now we've got past head to wind. So now we're coming out of it. There's a lot of heel on the boat.
and duck,
Yeah.
and then like jump.
So we're almost down to 90 degrees.
While you're in midair, you sort of want the tiller to turn, like straighten up a bit.
Yeah.
And then you want to land like with your knees forward and your body like leaning forward like that.
Body weight forward out of the tap.
Yeah, and so
And-
that like shivers on the floor.
And where's the bow in reference to the angle that you're going to end up on?
Like quite close.
Is it higher or lower?
Depends.
If you nail it,
If you nail it, it should be pretty close to it.
pretty close. Cool. So rewind, we'll do it all in one action now.
Stack.
Cool. Please don't mess with the wheels. Cool.
Wait, pull it a bit. Get untangled. Untangle. Show it to me.
Guys, keep a bit of room around the boat.
Get it out there.
Okay, so where's 90 degrees from here? So you guys gonna get hit. Cool. So we're gonna end up pointing towards these 470s over here. So going along. Step one, steering up, clicking the main sheet. Luff starts to luff. You make the big hit. You're through head to wind. You're getting all the way around. There's a lot of heel on the boat. You're ducking under the boom.
No duck. Yeah. Like, the main sheet's sort of in the
Straight
way.
to the boom.
I can't really.
Cool. So, next person up. Josh. Where's Josh?
Hi.
Get him up. Where's got biking pants on? There's no one.
What do you mean?
What do you mean there's
It's really horrible taking the kill.
Someone take the tiller or something. But there's at least 8 knots out there.
Here's a song they got.
8 knots.
worry about holding it. You'll get caught up. Just everything's imaginary. Okay, what's your step one?
So step one
Yeah.
can be push the tiller away.
Yeah. Slowly. Yeah.
Or slightly, enough
Yeah.
that the boat starts coming up.
Cool.
Not as slow as George's one. Mine wasn't meant to be that slow. It's not.
Relatively slow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And cruising speed. I keep pushing it away more until like the friendly sail starts bubbling quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I hike out really aggressively.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
are you through head to wind by now?
yeah, through here to
Oh,
wind now.
shit.
So very fast.
That was head to wind there, so we're through head to
Yeah,
wind?
through here to wind.
Yeah.
And then about at this point here, I jump through and it's still turning.
Still
So then
turning.
I land about there. Like that, I usually land.
Yeah. Cool. And I've heard both you say you clipped in the main sheet. I'm pretty sure you ease the main sheet out at some point.
Yeah,
When you like go in,
just
like
didn't
get
say it.
closer.
Because then you go like, yeah.
Cool. So very similar, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
I sometimes like ease the main out as you're going through the middle of the boat, and then you pull it on when you land. It's sort of weird to like land going like that, and then like easing it.
So my one comment that I don't know if it works is try exiting the tack slightly lower with your main that click out. Then you go fast forward and then you click in and get on the wind. So I would say try overcook the rotation and exit the tack low. And the big thing is your rudder doesn't bite against it. So if you rewind back to the start, it all starts in that second step. So the small steer up isn't that important. The fact that
The boat just breaks.
so step one, the little steer up. It's important, not that important. Step two, where the luffs and your body weight goes out, that is makes or breaks the tack. So if you get enough heel on at that point, everything falls into place. If you don't get enough heel on, you exit the tack too high, you over flatten it, and the rudder bites badly. So those three things happen. If you do it right, you exit low, you flatten down and you accelerate so you don't over flatten, it feels good, and your rudder doesn't fight it. So it all comes back to the second step. So you steer up slowly, it could be quickly, it depends on if there's chop or flat water, and then the luffs, and that's where everything happens. And the more aggressive you can be at that moment, the better. Cool?
Yeah.
All good. That's enough.
Yeah, I think just from what I saw today, there was two kind of main mistakes that I saw that people were making. I think there were some tacks that were looking pretty good. George, yours was looking especially really quite good. But the two main mistakes I saw was that first one, the boat stayed too flat coming into the tack, which meant coming out of the tack, the boat was flat and you never really got that kind of roll tack effect. Either the boat was too flat coming into the tack and coming out of the tack it just stayed flat, or the boat was too flat coming into the tack and then once you crossed over you had to then try and get the heel into the boat and then flatten it off, which just meant that
Cheating.
for one thing, but for another thing super slow. So you saw how much like George and Josh hiked out coming into that tack, and that's to initiate the heel towards you. Just imagine that if you got heel towards you and then you cross over onto the other side of the boat, that means heel away from you. So it means that that heel is already there when you change sides, and all you got to do is flatten the boat off. Most of the time I saw out there either, when I saw slow tacks, it was because you didn't have heel and you were trying to create it after you'd crossed over to the other side, or you just didn't cross over to the other side fast enough. That's the second mistake. So not crossing over to the other side fast enough meant that your boat kind of, imagine you've got the heel going away from you, you've got that lured heel away from you coming out of the tack, and then you flatten it off, you just hold on to that heel for too long. you want to try and make it so that as soon as the sail fills on the new side, you flatten it off straight away. Longer you leave it there, the boat just stops dead in the water. So those are the two mistakes I saw. Not having enough heel coming into the tack, heel towards you, and then holding on to that heel away from you too long coming out of the tack. Anything else?
You want to be like sort of in the middle of the boat when the boom's in the middle of the boat. So like crossing the boat when the boom's like in the middle.
I think you got to be like a lot more aggressive than what you think when you're crossing over to the other side and flattening it off. It's almost like it's real hard because you got to be super smooth when you're coming up into the tack, and then you got to be real aggressive when you flick it over and then cross sides, and then you've got to be smooth when you land, but you know, still flattening it down, you know, reasonably quickly. So you're flattening it down quickly, but then it's smooth at the same time. So it's something which does take a little bit of time to master. And I think the hard thing comes in the fact that there's times when you've got to be smooth in attack, and there's times when you've got to be aggressive in attack. You know?
Just from me, just with the stuff that we were talking about beforehand in the briefing, you know, Paul was talking about tacking and dipping, and Matt was also talking about, you know, not positioning yourself so that you get screwed on, you know, when you call for water, okay? A lot of people out there, and there was a classic example straight off in the first race, I can't remember who it was, but someone had to tack because of the boundary, and then someone followed them into the boundary and then tacked, and instantly was in bad air. And Matt had said it like 20 minutes before in the briefing about that exact situation, yet it still occurred. Okay? Just a little more level of thinking of what you're doing. Okay? Also, just with the tacking and dipping stuff that Paul was talking about in the briefing, you know, a lot of the guys who were sort of doing well in the racing seemed to keep it pretty simple and weren't getting too involved with other boats, whereas the people who were just like screaming and sort of like getting real into, you know, sort of boat on boat stuff were usually at the back. Okay, so keeping sort of out of trouble was a pretty good way to, you know, get to the front of the fleet.
Nice. Last thing, just this is the very last thing that I'd say is that I saw a few times when people were dipping boats and they did a massive big rock when they were dipping behind the boat, and it just looked like your boat just stopped. It looked like it was counterproductive, if anything else. And also I know that I've had a penalty doing that myself in the past, so just be careful of it. You know, you're wanting to maybe, as you're dipping behind the boat, have a little bit of heel away from you so that you can kind of flatten it down as you come out, but don't do it too much because it's counterproductive. It's going to make you slow, and also you could get a penalty coming from it. Good?
Yeah.